Bienvenue dans Bonne Société, un jeu narratif basé sur les œuvres de Jane Austen. Mais maintenant, je vous propose une série inspirée du génie de Léon Tolstoï. En fait, son chef-d'œuvre Guerre et paix. Et si vous vous demandez pourquoi parle-t-elle français si l'histoire était en Russie, je vous prie de vous rappeler que la première page de Guerre et paix est écrite en français. That's a very deep cut, folks. Welcome to Good Society. I have a remarkable cast who has agreed to be my guinea pigs in my experiment to see whether or not we can do Tolstoy with Good Society. God help us all. So, first, let me introduce my longtime collaborator, partner in crime, and glutton for punishment because she keeps coming back, Serafina.
Hello. I don't have much to say because we don't have characters yet, but hi, I'm Serafina. I'm just here to make stuff weird.
Never. Next, our longtime Gauntlet contributor, someone I'm very happy to have at my table for once, Richard.
Hey, I finally got into a Catherine Ramen game without having to pounce on a link within 5 seconds. And I'm ready for my name's Richard, and I'm really ready for Serafina to make it weird. So,
man, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I'm telling it to me this time. Next up, a member of the Kingsport Drama Society, our good friend Leandro.
Hi. Yeah, I was gonna say it's weird to be in a. I was gonna say it was gonna be weird in a milieu with more mature characters, but they're not gonna be mature, are they? They can pretend better, I assume. But no, I'm just fast. This is gonna be very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to playing regular people. I guess regular air quotes. But thanks for having me.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing more regular than an early 19th century Russian noble person. And finally, another member of our Kingsport Drama Society, Daryl.
Hi there, I'm Daryl, and I am very excited to play this Russian hot take of Jane Austen's work. So the extent of my knowledge of Russian literature really comes down to Keira Knightley's Anna Karenina. So this is going to be a fun experiment for me.
There are actually worse things than the Keira Knightley Anna Karenina, so that's pretty good. Cool. So for those of you who are tuning in and wondering why and how, we're going to basically do this like Good Society, a couple twists, and there are a couple differences. There are a couple ways that Tolstoy and Austen are the same, and there are a couple ways they're different. Tolstoy and Austen are both focused on moral crisis and the gap between our inner and outer life. Tolstoy especially is a genius at showing that. The social position of the characters in both Tolstoy and Austen is roughly the same. In Tolstoy, all the main characters are going to be assumed to be nobles, but it's a nobility leisure class that occupies a very similar position as the English gentry in that they may have lots of title and no money, or lots of money and a lower title. And finally, marriage, courtship, property, and gender roles are all very important in both of them. Unlike Austen, Tolstoy's focus is life. He is the famous writer of making the world come to life on his pages. So he explores more than just provincial life in the English countryside. Satire was always Austen's goal. It's only sometimes true for Tolstoy. And Austen focused on a single character, and Tolstoy gave us the thoughts of many characters, which is fine because Good Society actually works better that way. So cool. So I made this crazy playset. It's got a bunch of different roles in it, which I tried to set up in the thing. So cool. So if you don't know what a playset is for Good Society, it's a way that we can group together a bunch of roles, desires, and relationships so that we can hit the ground running. So I made two. The first is kind of a general War and Peace setup, which is me trying to see if I can roughly create the approximate condition of the main characters. Not so much to copy them, just so that I know that worked because Tolstoy wrote it. So And then there's a second playset I wrote that we might also want to consider, which I'm calling the Great Comet playset, because it is essentially the setup of the Broadway show the Pierre Natasha and the Great Comet of 1812, which is a terrific soundtrack. I highly encourage everybody to listen to it. It's amazing. So cool. Anybody have any thoughts about which one? The Comet one is a little spicier, but it's also a little more focused. The War and Peace one is a little more general. And a little more open-ended, maybe.
I feel like having something that's a little more specific might be good, given that we're not as familiar with the game. So, like, if we're all kind of focused on a thing, that would make it a little easier to, like, find our way through. I don't know how everybody else feels, though.
The Great Comet sounds really good to me. I was going to say the focus for the 4 weeks sounds like a really solid way to kind of jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I got slightly caught with my pants down, but that's okay. No, I didn't, because I didn't actually fill out one of the relationship cards. That was the thing I was supposed to do, and I forgot. But that's cool. So that's fine. So in a good society, your character is built on a couple different things. The first is your role, which is the general kind of role you play in the story that is roughly analogous to a apocalypse world playbook. Every main character has a desire, which is a secret motivation that you have. Everyone has a relationship, and everyone has a family background. Now, for this game, I have been more liberal with my interpretation of what family background means. Each family background basically provides a couple of relationship tags that will tell you whether or not your relationship went up or down in a given cycle of play, which I will get to in a minute. So for the family backgrounds, that's the only thing I really cared about. Like, clergy is not an appropriate background for a Russian story, because the upper levels of the clergy are just not married, and the lower levels are, but they're more provincial, so we're not going to worry about that. But the clergy family background relationship reputation tags are all about doing good things for other people or doing selfish things, and so that maps really well for anybody that's pious or philosophical or whatever. I also created a special couple of roles for this thing. One of them is in the Great Comet one, that is the philosopher. You're a person who is trying to figure out what's going on with the world, and I have a Google Doc for that if somebody wants to take that character. Cool. But maybe before we do that, let's take one quick step back. So this is a super collaborative game. There's no dice. There's no GM. I'm the facilitator. I'm also going to play a character just for the kick of it. So that means we've got to fill out some of this stuff and keep it public and everybody know about it. So the first question is what tone the story should have. I have gone ahead and set that to drama, as I think that's about the appropriate place for a story that is going to take place in the hideous invasion of 1812. So that means things are difficult. Actions have serious consequences. Tensions are quick to inflame. Connections viciously pursue their own ends. Society is harsh and judgmental. So keep that in mind, folks. It's Russian winter out there. How important is historical accuracy? It's somewhat important. We're going to try and get it right when it counts, but we're never going to stop the game to find out what a historical fact is. During breaks, we can figure out stuff. So cool. I've read the bloody novel 4 or 5 times. I actually don't remember. And I have read other Russian novels, so I know I know the Napoleonic Wars decently well. So I'll be around. You guys can ask me questions, and I know that the rest of the group here are kind of geeky and research things too. So we're all going to be good there. How will we treat the gender power balance? I said that the historical. I'm okay if people want to collaborate. Austin is really about patriarchy. Tolstoy, not as much, but we can talk about that. And how much hidden information? I said that the sum, I would prefer that we not have any hidden information, because my job is already hard enough. So, yeah, the private relationships are going to be public knowledge. Your desires won't be. You can keep those to yourself. So cool. Any thoughts? Or is this all good? Cool. Okay, so let's talk about the different roles and what they're doing. So yeah. So for this playset, we can either do it completely as written, or we can monkey with it a little, where you could change the rules. But as written, I have the following rules: the philosopher, the hedonist. So the hedonist is a character that is essentially just out for their own pleasure. The heir, which is a young person who is imminently marriageable. The meddler, who is a person who spreads gossip and rumors and is not generally all that accurate. And the cornerstone, who is the heart of a family, the one with all the good advice that is often not heeded. And I included the spare in case we want to use a different role, and that would be the dowager. The dowager is an older person who has a lot of past pain and is looking to maybe settle things for her relatives or his friends. So cool. Any thoughts on what any of those sound interesting to folks?
I would love to do the hedonist.
Oh, bravo. Cool, cool, cool. I believe I have one of those. I believe I have that set up, but you can just grab it. Just grab a space on your thing. Oh, you did. Cool. Excellent. So that will map you to siblings as your relationship. So you're gonna have. So we'll get to that in a second. Cool. All right, folks, step right up.
I'm interested in the heir.
Excellent.
For a second, I thought cornerstone, but I've already been really nice this year, so.
Perfect. Daryl and Leandro.
I think that Andrew, what are you thinking? Because I'm middle of the cornerstone.
I think I'll go with the meddler. I've played too many nice things since the start of this year so far. So let's go the opposite tack of that.
I mean, you're not just going to play a lost waif? Okay.
No, it's been too many lost waves. January was the month of waves. It was too much.
Cool. So let me take a look what we got here. Richard.
Mind if I flip the gender on the heir, or were you invested?
Yeah, no, you can totally do that.
Because I kind of already picked out a boy name.
Yeah, but none of these playbooks are gendered.
Right.
Interesting. Cool. So let's see. Daryl is the cornerstone, huh? Wow. Let's see. So that leaves me as either being the philosopher or the dowager. Let me take a look what we got so far. Because there's going to be marriage in the air. All right. I'll keep it simple, and I'll take the dowager, I think. Okie dokie. So we have family backgrounds that attach to all of these folks. So let's see. Richard, you're the hedonist. Yours is old name. And let me pop that open for you. So old name is the old money of the actual rules. And this is annoying. Let me open it up in my desktop. There we go. Cool. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, so you are from an old family of your name goes back to Russia's mythic origins. So you're gonna get positive reputation criteria is if you have denied your desires or made a sacrifice to uphold the family name. Your negative one is going to be if you have shamed or embarrassed the family name. Now, since you're the hedonist, just make a one or the other way. But we're going to get to all this in a sec about what all these mean. And everybody always has the same other two. If you have acted in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromises your desires, or you acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship in doing so, you get a positive reputation. If you acted in contravention of society's conventions or acted on desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality, you get a negative one. So cool. Let's do this. Okay, cool. So, cool. Let me just step through all these and then we'll get to the desires. Sorry, because I can step through these real quick. Cool. Let's see. Serafina, you're playing the heir, and you also have the old money / old name family background. Our meddler is Leandro. You're ill reputed. Haha. Let me read you that one. You have your family is plagued by scandal. You're always finding yourself having to move from place to place, constantly finding that some uncle or another has offended fashionable society, thus excluding you from the latest ball. Not to mention the questions you have to field in church on a weekly basis. So you're going to get a positive tag if you make a sacrifice or denied your own desires to show that you're not like the rest of your family. And you will take a negative tag when you publicly defend any member of your family. So that's fun. And let's see. Our Karna Stone comes from humble origins. So you are positive when you sacrifice or deny your own desires to please someone of higher rank, and negative when you presume to order, instruct, make a demand of someone with a higher rank. So we're going to don't worry too much about this right away. It's on the playset. You can fill it in on the keeper so that you can remember what you have. And we'll go over that as we progress through the phases, because this game has phases. It's a thing. It's great. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the desires, because this is going to be slightly complicated to do because I don't have a text version of these. So that's fun. The PDF I have only has the images on it, so we're just going to have to, read them. So theoretically, we're not supposed to know what these desires are. So yeah, cool. So, okay, Richard, you get desire number 3. Now I have put this in the folder. It's in the print and play cards, which I hope I didn't switch over to. Yeah, they're there. So if you want to pull that up and you can look at what that means for you. Okay. See now, next. Our heir.
Sorry. I was on mute and was struggling to get mute to go away. So.
Okay. So you good or?
I am good.
Okay, cool. So Serafina, your desire is number 12.
Number 12.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious.
Is it get married?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
It's enter into marriage with someone who truly loves me.
Yep.
Aww. Well, it's just close to what I.
Yeah, it's not a real stretch. So cool. Our meddler, your desire is number 4.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a saucy one.
Yeah.
It's
Good
a
luck
barb.
with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that can be not nice.
And our cornerstone is desire number 11. So you will have to decide. You'll get some choices to make about that as we progress along, I believe. How that works. Yep. And I probably screwed this up slightly, and I should have swapped this around. Oh, no, actually not. Cool. All right. Now the hard part. We got to do the relationships. This will be fun. Richard, you get siblings as your relationship.
Correct.
Now, the way this works is you will give your relationship card to another player. And so, yep. Now, there's technically a public and a private side of these cards. And sometimes they're different, so that's important.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it back open. Sorry, there we go. And which file is the relationship card? I think I had the wrong one.
It's the desire.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just further down on the thing.
Like 3B, desire and whatever.
Okay. $3B.
Yep.
All right.
So whoever you give that card to is your sibling.
All right.
Now, I happen to know that our cornerstone has a desire that relates to a sibling, but don't feel obligated to do that because we can always create a connection for other people.
Daryl, do you want a sibling? Or, then yeah, I'll give the sibling card to Daryl.
Cool, and you get to decide if you're the older or the younger.
I'll go with the traditional hedonist and be younger.
Cool. Next, our heir. You are number 30, the object of affection.
Yeah, so I think the thing that makes sense for my character is to have the object of my affection be Vasilisa, because I think I'm looking for somebody that's like genuine and true. And so even though she is poor, she's like kind, I'm guessing. So as long as Daryl's cool with that. Sweet.
It's nice. It'll be fun, yeah, to see where this goes with my desire.
Right. And do I put that down in connection name?
No, the connections are slightly different. You can just can just put object of. You can say Vasilisa is your object of affection, I guess, in your relationship. So hey, we should probably talk about this, right? How historical are we going to handle queerness in this world? Because this
Yeah,
could.
that's one of the reasons why I chose Vasilisa, because I didn't want to go gay.
Oh, that's right. Jeez, I'm so used to you playing. Yeah, wow.
I mean,
Sorry.
I think that
no.
Andrei is probably real bi.
I'm
that's
really confused because I thought I heard Fina say she didn't want to go gay.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Like, I want to go gay. I think that his whole thing is that he is this like very poetic, artistic, effusive personality, and I think that but he's trying to do right by his family.
That's cool. So like
he might wind up making out with Boris. I'm just saying.
We can. I'm sure Tolstoy will survive it. Maybe not. I don't know. There's one thing that I talk about sometimes when I play historical games is like, are we doing something that's as a period story, or are we doing something where it's like they're making a movie today about what was happening back then.
Right.
Cool. If I ever get around to putting out the 3rd episode of Nerves of Steel, we actually did that. Cool. Next. Our meddler has a relationship of rivals, which makes sense.
Yeah, I was wondering about whether I. No, you know, for this one, I don't want to continue my wars with Daryl. I think we need to move on to something else. For once. Let's see who has relationships with who. Boris has a relationship with Vasilisa. Andrei has a relationship with Vasilisa. I'm not sure, like, because the way I'm thinking of his character, I'm just thinking his character sucks and probably nobody likes her. Honestly, any one could be a rival. Let me read the rival card again this evening. Yeah, very trivial rivalry. Very giver, certainly a bitter one. So I'm terrible and thin-skinned. All right, that's good to know. Honestly, it could be. It could be either Boris or Andrei. I'm gonna say, like, for a slight petty reason, it's probably gonna be Boris, just because I'm saying it's slight and petty, so I can think about it later. Once I know more about Boris.
And what's the relationship?
Rivals.
Oh. And what's the number on that?
It's number 28. And the thing is, it could be something trivial for you, but for me, it's bitter and heated. But because you're the hedonist, you probably don't feel the same way. Maybe.
Okay. Our cornerstone is your relationship is number 23, the best of friends.
The best of friends, yes. So the giver and taker of this card, I can long, and to let bygone, I think that Vasilisa and Svetlana are the best of friends.
Oh God, we have to be nice to each other. Do we know how to do that?
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I was actually thinking, like, go on.
Especially because you're beefing with my brother, so yeah.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder, like, how you actually feel about your brother.
It'll be like that living with it'll be a friend, but like secretly the best friend and the brother are like at odds with each other. It's great.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Cool. So my relationship is I am the patron of someone. That's neat. So let's see, what do we got here? So Andrei is in love with Vasilisa, right? And Boris is Vasilisa's younger brother. Interesting. Okay, so you're Boris Ivanovich Fedorov, huh?
Yep.
Cool. And Svetlana is rivals with Boris. Okay. And Vasila is friends with Svetlana. So I need to be the patron of one of these people.
Can I just ask, do Russians do alliterative names?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, sure. I mean, there's plenty of guys named Alexei Alexei Alexandrovich, for example.
I'll think about it then.
Nastya Nikolaevna. Cool. So I should definitely be the patron of somebody.
I'm not against having somebody patronize me.
And you're the heir, right?
Yeah. Help me.
Okay. Yep. That's cool. All right. I am your patron, and you are my client, as it were.
Okay. What's the reverse of that card?
It's basically the same thing. Whatever you have to do to maintain this relationship, we will discover and play.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to say that since my dowager Nikolai was a general under Catherine the Great, that probably Andrei is the son of one of my adjutants, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe your father's dead, or maybe it was your grandfather I served with.
Yeah, maybe.
And yeah.
Yeah, either one of those sounds good to me.
Oh, do you want to be an orphan? Or only have your mom alive?
I think, actually that's a good idea because I think that his relationship with his dad was like really fraught. And he's like for sure the sort of person that like he was very close with his mom. He probably has sisters. He's very all of those tropes are all very true for Andrei. And so having like a guy around to like guide him isn't a bad idea.
Cool.
And it's probably something that he really like drifts towards.
So you are the son of my good dead friend Fyodor, which makes you Andrei Fedorovich Vasilev.
Okay.
Cool. So we can find out a lot of this stuff as we go. Let me just take a real quick look in the book to make sure we're doing everything right. I think we are, but we're good. Yep, we formed relationships. We have roles and backgrounds. Cool. So yeah.
What about the reputation tags?
Yeah.
Those
Why
things?
don't we do that now?
Yeah.
So if you look in the role books, which is the character role sheets, you'll see that everyone has an example for some initial reputation tags. You take one good and one bad. So let's talk slightly quickly about this. You'll notice that you have spaces down on under your reputation tags, positive and negative. Whenever you have 3 of one or the other, you get a reputation condition, which is listed on your sheets. Some of them are not bad, and some of them are bad. So the other thing that you should know about your reputation tags is you may use them instead of a resolve token. Essentially, you cash them in for a resolve token to use against somebody. Now, you can't use your own negative reputation tags to help you. Other people can. They can spend your negative reputation tag against you. You can spend your own positive reputation tag as a resolve point. Why is that important? Because again, if you get to 3 of any of those categories, you might not want that, so you will spend it. You can spend your own negative reputation tag against yourself if you want. That also works. Okay, it's a collaborative game. What can I tell you? So cool. Yeah, so everyone take a little moment and maybe fill out your reputation tags. Then I think we'll do introductions of our characters, and then I think we'll do full-throated character the connections, and then maybe we'll actually be ready to get this thing rolling. Holy cow.
Reputation tags come from our role or from our family background?
From your role.
Okay.
I think. Wait. No, I'm wrong. It's from your family background. Yeesh.
Oh, so
those reputations from role are just kind of moves almost?
Those are the conditions you get when you get 3 on either.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of like moves, yeah.
Okay, but when you get 3, they get marked. Okay.
Right.
And when you can't really use them until you mark them.
Yeah, until you
Or
get
they don't apply until you mark them.
Right.
Okay.
I love that one of the player principles is accept and orchestrate your own misfortunes.
Okay, so we shouldn't add any tags now, really. It should just be like we know what they are, right?
No, you should add one of each.
One of each. One
positive and
positive, one
negative.
negative. Okay, cool. Great, I'm done.
Cool. Looks like we're all ready. Whew. So, Richard, you want to introduce your character? Are you ready to do that?
I think so. I am Boris Ivanovich Fedorov. He, him. Age 21. And he is supposedly ready to get married. So, like a lot of things, he sees that as a game. He is the hedonist, and he comes from old money, or has an old name. And his reputation is that he is generous but self-absorbed.
Cool.
But his older sister is Vasilisa.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is gonna be good. So why don't we do Vasilisa?
Yeah. So Vasilisa is a stern beauty. For her parents, she has an older sister. She longs for a simpler life, but knows that it is up to her, just the best that she can. She is the older sister to Boris, and she is the best of friends with Svetlana. And am I forgetting anything? Is that it?
Your reputation tags?
Oh, my reputation tags. So I am sweet, but also ignorant.
Excellent combination. Nothing bad will come from that. Sounds like we should next go on to Svetlana. Yeah, I think Svetlana, because you're rivals with Boris Ivanovich.
Yeah, so Svetlana Morozov, Sveta to her friends. She's the meddler of this motley crew. And her family, the Morozovs, they have an ill-reputed reputation. They've been known for a string of scandals that span generations. But the main thinking that's passed on in this family line is that, there's always one trick or one scam or one scheme that can turn it all around. They just need to find the right one. And Svetlana's no different in thinking that way. She probably sucks as a person. She's a bit up jump. She thinks too highly of herself. She kind of imagines that she's like her best friend Vasilisa, and that she's keeping the family together, from the same duties. But honestly, that's probably their cousins doing, only because their cousin's very too nice to them and keeps the Morozovs afloat. The thing is, she thinks she's a cornerstone, but she's actually more of a meddler. Their family has bred idea. Yeah, they can do no wrong. It's always just it's a setback. They'll get over that. Maybe. No, not maybe. It's gonna happen. If not in this generation, maybe in the next. But it's always this generation. They're gonna figure it out. And her reputations are experienced, sure, and unpredictable.
Oh dear. Oh dear. You're just another big bundle of desires, aren't you? Thank you, Svetka. So next, Andrushka.
I'm Andrei Fyodorovich Vasilev. definitely romantic at heart. He has a reputation for being caring, if somewhat old-fashioned. He is a gentle, tender soul who was a great frustration for his father and a favorite of his mother, and is somewhat a scandal for a magnet for romantic scandal, which is why he needs to get married very quickly. Um, and yeah, that's Andrei.
And you're caring and old-fashioned, huh?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so sweet. Cool. So my character is the Dowager Nikolai Andreevich Volokov. He was a general and one of Catherine's favorites. He lives in the 18th century, as it were. He still has his servants wear livery. He wears a powdered wig. He is considered the king of Muscovite society, but he's somewhat out of favor in Petersburg, where he's seen as a bit dowdy and a little too ancien regime. Not up with the times. He is famous for his victories against the Turks in Central Asia, and he is proud and brooks very little insult. And he is the patron of our dear Andrei Fyodorovich Veselev. I want you to get married, my son. It'll be a good idea. It'll be cool. Okay. That was fun. Now we got to make connections. This is going to be a thing. Because I don't have the connections deck. And frankly, actually, I do have the connections deck. But frankly, there is no way in hell I had time to translate that one. So we're just going to have to make some up. And that's all cool. We'll be good. So what's a connection? Hey, a connection is a minor character that we're going to be portraying in the story, and their job is to basically make life interesting for people. Connections have their own pool of resolve tokens, which is cool. And you can spend them against other main characters. They can actually get resolve tokens too through negotiation. It's a fun thing. So if you look on your roll sheets, there's a bunch of suggestions for connections. So why don't we start by making those, and then we'll talk about them and pick somebody to play each one. You can't play your own connection, so.
I think I would be really interested in seeing what my less favored suitor was like, or like a least favorite uncle or aunt, or even my mom. Any of those would be interesting to me.
How much rivalry do we think we're going to see between the other girls for you?
I mean, I think the odds of, like, if there's a less favored person, I think that might be complicated for Vasilisa, because if I make my affections known kind of out loud, then she might experience some difficulty there. So that could be an interesting thing. I'm going to try and drive the like eligible bachelor thing real hard.
Oh.
Or even if there's like a romantic rival for me, like another guy that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's create a dude for that. Maybe a handsome army officer.
Oh yeah, because I'm like this, poetic, artistic, non-military dude. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where should I put them anywhere basically down here?
No, there's just right below you.
Just right below me. Okay, great.
Yeah, because it's your connection. You just don't get to play them.
Great. So romantic rival.
How about a Vladimir or an Oleg? We haven't had either of those.
Vladimir.
Yeah, gotta have a Vladimir.
And I think his thoughts about me are basically that he that I'm not a real man, maybe, or that I'm like not strong enough, or yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay. How about Boris? Do you have anything?
I'd love to have my uncle the count.
Yeah, what's his story?
I think he favors he favors he thinks Boris is a degenerate who should spend more time in Moscow.
Fantastic. Well, you're all such young people. Cool.
A degenerate who should take an army commission. Is that about right? Does that sound?
Yeah, definitely sounds about right. I can help you with that.
Right.
Cool. So it looks like Vasya, you have a connection planned?
Yes, and it's so convenient that my brother gave us an uncle because I have a cousin.
Oh dear. So this must be
Her name
the
is
daughter of
Rosalina.
the uncle?
Yes.
Perfect.
So Rosalina is our philandering cousin. Of course, we can, just define what that means in our fiction. But basically,
She's my favorite cousin.
Yeah. Like she probably thinks that Vasilisa is like boring beyond reason and could stand to have a good. So there's this kind of like friction between Vasilisa and Rosalina because Vasilisa thinks that we should be like presentable and that we need to like do the best we can to like represent our family and things like that. Whereas Rosalina is probably fishing for a husband and looking for a good time.
Very cool. Cool. Svetka, you got anything?
I'm torn between distant cousin, because I've already mentioned a cousin, or an estranged sibling. I kind of just want a family member that's decent. That's for some reason I'm imagining my family is a bunch of Thernadiers for some reason. That's a completely different piece of literature, obviously, but like someone who got away, I guess. Let's give her a name. And yeah, just call her Maria for now. And she's a distant cousin, I'd say. I've already mentioned that kind of like that cousin or a cousin's family is the only thing keeping our family afloat. And I think she's kind of the one who thinks she can rescue Svetlana from their ways. I think that's the best I got for now. Anyway, she's kind of, well, I say she made it out. She just married well, and it's kind of looking back on time. It's like, oh, you poor dears. You need to be smarter than that. Maria. Let's see, what is the list of last names? Sokolov. There we go.
I went ahead and created like a romantic rival woman named Nikita Petrov, who thinks that I am clearly her future husband. And I think one of the reasons for that is because her family has kind of fallen on hard times. And so not only am I kind, but I'm also rich. And so she's going to chase me around. I think that sounds like fun.
Nice. Dope. Something tells me Nikita is actually... You know what? I like this. I think Nikita is actually gendered male in Russian. But you know what? I kind of like this. It's got like a little George Sand thing going on here. Maybe she likes to wear like a military jacket or something.
I'm so down.
Really? Yeah. How surprising.
Me? Shocking.
Yeah, I know. Cool. So I have generated a little connection. Elena Nikolaevna Akrimova. Her Russian name is Yelena. She is my oldest daughter. And she married a degenerate novelist and a gambler. So yes, she basically married Dostoevsky. And she's been sullied by his association, is desperately unhappy in her marriage, but she's constantly hitting me up for money to pay for things. It's trapped between a cycle of she needs the money to keep them afloat, and she needs the money to have nice things to stop feeling unhappy. And she feels that her father is just too stingy with his money. It's like, I didn't conquer half of Italy just so that my daughter can spend it on that spattering, ink-spattered wretch. Cool. So, hey, we should assign... does anybody else want to use their second slot right now, or...?
I'll hold mine for now, too.
Cool. All right. So, who do we want to play whom?
Do we choose who we want to play our secondaries, or do other people make a choice?
It's collaborative.
Because I mean, I'm going to be nice most of the time, but I would love to.
Sorry? You froze out a little bit there.
Oh, I just said I'm going to be nice most of the time because I'll be Vasilisa, but I'd love to play Helene and get a little bit of snark in if I can.
Yeah, you would have been... You or Serafina would have been my casting choice for that one.
I kind of like the idea of playing Rosalina and being the like, but cousin, let's just have a good time. All these boys are so cute.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I would love to play Maria.
Oh, that's fab. Because I was actually thinking of playing your uncle, the Count.
I was hoping you would say that.
No, by process of elimination.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be Vladimir?
Yep.
We're going to fight.
I am a hussar officer in the service of His Majesty the Tsar. Cool. Hey, folks, we did some fantastic work here. Let's all take a very well-deserved break. And I'll see you back, say, 5 of. All right, cool. So next, we're actually ready to begin. So I did talk briefly about resolve tokens. They're a currency in the game we can use when we're affecting the other characters in the game in a way that is detrimental to their interests. It's also a way that we can shape major things about the world. If you use it against another major character, you have to enter into a process of negotiation, which works very story game-ish. So, it's an accept with conditions. You can even refuse it. It's like it's not even like refusing a compelling fate. There's no penalty. It's just nothing happens. Cool. So, good society is composed of many, many phases. So many phases. But it's really not that bad. In each group of phases is a cycle. It's my fond hope that we will somehow pedal to the metal in the last 3 sessions and get through 4 cycles. I don't think we will. We'll probably get through 3. Each cycle consists of a novel chapter, then a phase where we figure out our reputation, then we spread some rumors and scandals. Then there's an epistolary chapter where you get to write letters to people, then another novel chapter, then another reputation phase, then an epistolary phase again, and then finally we do some upkeep, which includes things like dumping rumors, getting back tokens, and if nobody's used their monologue token yet, they gotta use it now. So everybody has to do some monologue stuff at least some point during the game. So novel chapter, there's a couple different forms that this can take. The big one is the event. That's where we have everybody, or at least a large number of the characters together. It is not required that all the characters be at the same place, not all the major characters, because, you've got minor characters you can play, you have your connections. But it's assumed an event is a large gathering of most of the characters, which will proceed in scenes where we will get to focus on all the characters. And there's a certain expansiveness that we could do there, including flashbacks and things like that. There is a visitation novel chapter, which is where people go and pay visits. That is conducted in a little 1 or 2 on 3s. And there's also the split chapter, which is where people are in different places and it's sort of action running simultaneously or close to it. Given that we are going to have at least 2 wars during the course of this, in all likelihood, the split chapters may feature during periods of stress. But as facilitator and possessor of a happy Russian blue cat, so very good, Shadow. You're completely on point tonight. I would propose that we have an event chapter to start, so that we have most of the characters in one place. So why don't I just shamelessly rip off Lev Tolstoy? Why don't we have this be Andrei's name day celebration at Prince Volkov's house in Moscow, to which many people have been invited because he is the king of Muscovite society. So for sure, Andrei is going to be there. I think Boris and Vesila are probably going to be there, and I'm pretty sure we could get Svetka in there too. Does that sound about right? What is the story with Sveta's family besides their ill repute, though? Are they still rich and important, or?
I think they're important. I think they've just been very good at hiding that they're not that rich. I think it's always a case of trying to bat as many creditors away as possible. That's kind of the running thing with her family. So she could be there, but like I said, her family's of ill repute. They're known as people with a lot of outstanding debts.
That is completely on point. Completely on point. Cool. So yeah, your entire life is a thin tissue of lies. This is awesome. Let me just make sure I remember. I have an extra resolve token. Click. Cool. Yeah. So the house is an older house in Moscow, so it is not as fashionable or new as some of those newer buildings in Petersburg with their French and Italian architects. This is very solid and Russian. It's about from the era of Catherine, so there's definitely some French influence and German influence on it. Big entry hall with a big chandelier hanging from it. The parlors have been opened up into a single large ballroom. There's the 7-course dinner is planned. He's hired a band, but of course they're all playing like stuff from the 1790s, so nobody's really interested. It's all old music, like it's all Mozart and Schubert and stuff. Who cares? Yeah, we are not doing the mazurka in my house. Not in my house. While we're on campaign, that's different. So cool. I think the best thing to do is probably I should kick it off with Andrei, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I know. I think I call you into my study while the party is going on.
Okay. Great.
And it's very old fashioned, and there's like battle standards hanging on the walls and crossed sabers, like crossed scimitars actually that I took from Chechens in Central Asia, and old maps of my campaigns and a globe that's 20 years out of date. Andrushka, I give you the happiness of your name day.
Do I have an affectionate name that do I call you like Uncle or something, or is it just?
I think Uncle will probably be good.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle. It's been a beautiful evening so far.
Andrushka, you know that I have looked after you for your entire life. Your father was my devoted comrade in many campaigns.
Yes.
I think he would be upset at this point to see that you have not yet settled upon a career.
Andrei sort of, it's as close as he ever comes to being petulant, leans like sullenly against one of the bookcases in your office and says, "But a career."
Andrushka, we have a responsibility to the Empire. I think that normally I would just say that given your considerable literary gifts, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the villanelle. It was lovely. I would have urged you to go into the Foreign Service. But that gangster and criminal, Napoleon Bonaparte, is raging across Europe, and our noble Orthodox Russian forces are meeting him as we speak in Germany. I have no doubt that we shall achieve a great victory over this criminal and regicide. But this is a time when every young man of spirit and blood should be in the army.
Uncle, I appreciate the insight, but I am not a fighting man.
Bah! Everyone says they're not a fighting man. Until that day when you come across the battle and see smoke of cannons, hear the whine of bullets, feel a horse charging under your knees. It's glorious, my son, glorious.
I have read enough, Uncle Nikolai, to know that the glory of war is somewhat overstated.
It's true.
You wish for me to have a career, why not the education of our youth? Why not a scholar? Why not?
This is not a job for a man of blood. You might as well be a music teacher. No, Andrushka, I have good news for you. I understand that you are not necessarily a fighter, but I have certain connections with the commander-in-chief. And His Grace, Prince Mikhail Ivanovich Kutzlov, has agreed to take you on as one of his adjutants. I'm going to spend a resolve token on this one.
Great.
Are you going to accept this?
What does that position entail?
You will be one of his staff officers, expected to courier messages, prepare speeches, appear at functions, perhaps translate. So some of those Germans can't speak a word of Russian or Polish.
I think I will take that. As long as it doesn't involve me going to the front lines, Uncle, I am very interested in a career you would be proud of.
I'm sure there's no chance whatsoever of you ending up in the front lines.
Well, then, in that case, I would be glad to speak with him.
Very good. I will have my man Fedya outfit you in your uniform. You'll be on a troika by next week, headed for Austria.
Oh, but Uncle, shouldn't I be married before I'm away?
Think of the wife you'll win when you come back with medals and honor and French battle standards.
I think that it might be better for us to consider a slightly slower pace to this new dealing. Once I'm married, then I will enlist my services.
But Napoleon is raging through Europe now, son.
I am aware, but it is my responsibility as the heir to my father's title to ensure that there is a continuation of our line. And I can't very well do that if I'm unmarried.
So you're going to try and spend a resolve token here?
Well, I'm going to try and negotiate the resolve token you're giving me.
Ah.
Like, I will gladly do that thing, but I should be married first. And who knows how long it'll take me to make that decision.
If you can find a suitable woman, I will accept waiting until you are betrothed. But if she is a good and patriotic Russian girl, she will accept that you must go and fight the gangster Bonaparte.
I will seek her out with all of the ardence that I feel for this new position.
Yeah. It's not like Prince Nikolai is not familiar with press gangs. Cool. So, yeah. What else do we want to see here? I'd love to see Boris and Vasilisa arrive, perhaps.
Okay. So
I think that makes good sense. Yeah.
And maybe run
And
into.
we are in Moscow, correct?
Yes.
I think that I really like the idea that like the very first time you see us on camera, like I'm kind of like brushing, like batting at your coat, trying to like clean something off of it. And I'm like, Boria, you're such a mess. How are you ever going to attract a bride if you look so disheveled?
Vasya, it took me minutes to dishevel this coat this morning. The servants keep pressing it every time I put it out.
So, well, you need to look your best. After all, we've been invited to this beautiful party, and I hope that you shall meet a desirable young girl.
Oh, that's the worst thing ever. Why would you wish that on anyone? I'm hoping that I'll be able to give Andruska this present. And meet someone of poor reputation that will disappoint our uncle the Count.
And break your sister's heart.
I didn't wish anyone of that sort on you. Why would that break your heart?
Boria, I try so hard and I feel like you don't want to do anything with your life. I mean, you're already 21. What are you doing with your life? Where are we going? We only have our parents' allowance to survive on.
I think I turn you to look at me. I'm just like, we do have our parents' allowance to survive on. And there are ways people make money. I mean, not in Moscow.
But tell me, Boria, are they the kind of ways that will keep the Fedorov name shining and impeccable in society today?
Vasya, and I start to turn to sort of walk back, kind of extending my arm to you. This is not a world like the world of Mother's time or Father's time. This is a world in which we are striving to live by European standards.
Don't say such things, Boris.
Cosmopolitan standards. In fact, to hear people talk about it, Europe is coming straight to our door to tell us how to live.
Yes, and that scandalous man, Napoleon. Oof.
Well, we could do with a few shorter people around here. We all eat too much and drink too little.
You know, sometimes I wonder if Sveta's right about you.
Oh, what has Sveta said about me now?
Please forgive me. I shouldn't have said anything.
There's nothing to forgive. You're just repeating the derisions from my favorite source of derision.
I truly do not understand your rivalry. I cannot understand how I can be so close to my brother and so close to my friend, and that the two of you argue like cats and dogs.
I think it's because she's secretly in love with me.
Oh, Oria.
Vasya. All right. He sort of straightens out his jacket. And he turns back a sleeve, and she's like, how do I look? Is it appropriate for St. Petersburg?
She walks over and like pulls your sleeve back down, straightens it up a little bit, and just says, "Oh, you are perfect, no matter where you are."
I shall have to work harder then. And I think at that point I need to escort you to the door.
Yes, I think that would be best. I'm very excited.
Cool. So what do we want to do with Svetlana?
I'm not sure. I think she was already there before the Federals. She's kind of there. Oh, go on.
Do we want to do one of those dancing scenes where, 4 people are going to end up having a conversation as they dance?
Oh, God. I love those scenes. I think
In that case, I would propose Vasya, Sveta, Andrei, and Vladimir.
yeah.
That work?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, cool. So yeah, Nikolai is back in his office working. So the band has been convinced, probably by Boris, to play a couple more spirited songs, some waltzes and mazurkas. So, but we're back to doing one of those formal, quadrille dances where people change partners frequently. Yeah. So I think Vladimir's there, decked out in his full hussar uniform. The tight jacket, the saber, the thigh-high boots. He's pomaded hair. He's got his mustache waxed. He's every inch the fearsome hussar officer.
Yeah, I think Andrei is dressed in typical Andrei fashion, like a bright white shirt and a deep blue jacket, and beautiful dancing shoes, like not boots. Just looks like an utter fop. And he does not have any facial hair.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
How modern.
he's very modern.
I tried to Google War and Peace fashion. I just got a lot of pictures of the BBC show.
Yeah, I would describe that as less historically accurate. The 66 Russia War and Peace is pretty accurate.
Yeah, hold on, let me put that in actually.
But you're talking Empire waist stuff. It's all French fashion, so it's high-waisted, the waist right under the bust line, long and straight.
I was just wondering how dark can someone wear their dress? Can have their dress?
You can't wear, like, unless you're mourning, you're not wearing black. Like, it's
Yeah, fair enough.
deal.
Okay.
Dark
and, like,
blue, dark gray. those would both work.
Yeah, your family isn't that rich, so you probably wouldn't have anything that is like too brightly colored.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Okay.
expensive.
Okay. So it's just all white everything. I would say she probably has like she just has dark hair. There we go. I just want something dark on her.
There you go. Yeah, so it starts with who? I think I approach Vasya for the dance.
I think that probably like I was fiddling with like Boris's coat again, but then I see you walk up and I'm like, oh, hello.
May I interest you in a dance, lady?
It would be my honor, sir.
You don't mind if I steal her away, do you, Boris?
Not at all. Interesting.
Yeah, so then I think the music starts. And as we're dancing, I say, are you enjoying the party so far?
I sigh. So how familiar would you say that Andrei and Vasilisa are?
I think they are familiar in the way that 19th century people who fall in love are familiar, i.e. I've seen you and we've maybe had one conversation.
Okay, cool. So she makes some banal comment about like, oh, it's such a lovely party. I'm having such a wonderful time.
My uncle does spoil me.
And how are you finding the party?
I was finding it very boring until just now.
Her face just blushes red, and she like looks demurely to the side as we twirl along the floor.
And then I think we switch partners.
Yes.
That seems like
Yeah.
the right time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
So-
I was thinking of how we join this dance. I think kind of when the dance starts, I'm kind of watching from the sidelines, trying to pick out familiar people. And I think when I see the two of them dancing, I just call out to my side. You don't seem busy at all, Lieutenant Count Smirnov. Care for a dance?
What is Svetlana? A countess? Princess?
She carries herself as a princess.
I like princess, yeah.
Yeah.
Princess, it would be my honor to accompany you.
It would truly be. As I think when we're dancing, I think it looks like I'm trying to maneuver towards Andrei and Vasya, but I don't know. Did you see? I mean, you're chasing after Vasya as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as we're dancing, I'm kind of like I think what I said is that Count Smirnov. I do believe your interests are open to the court. It's no secret who you're after.
I'm a great admirer of Countess Fedorova.
I'm sure you admire all sides of her. What do you think of that youth with her right now?
Ah, Andrei Fyorovich? Well, he's undisciplined.
Then we agree. He seems poorly for dear Vasilisa, right?
I would not presume to call the Countess by her first name, but yes, I would say that except for his considerable estate, he would be an inadequate match for a spirited girl such as Countess Fedorova.
I do have that privilege of calling her by her first name, and I'm sure you would like the same.
You are a great friend of the Countess. Is this true?
Some would say her greatest.
If you would be so kind as to put a word in for me, I would be happy to return whatever poor service I may offer such a charming young girl.
I think this is when we switch, just as
Right.
Yeah.
Andrei Fedorovich, I hear you are to join us in the army. Perhaps you should be a hussar officer like me.
I think I grimly, like as I switch partners to take Sveta, I just sort of glare at him. It is not appropriate to speak of such things in front of the women, my dear friend.
Ha ha ha!
I take Sveta's arm and say, what were you chatting with our lovely Vladimir about?
Oh, we were just talking about the war, about Europe, about Napoleon's chances. It wouldn't interest you at all, would you, dear? I don't know how to say the name, so I'll just say my dear. Sorry. Wouldn't interest you at all.
What's your title? Do you have one?
Apparently, I'm a princess now, so.
Okay. My dear Princess Morozov, I think that you have underestimated my interest in politics.
Oh, care to rectify that then?
Napoleon is nothing but a bully that we will show the way out of his ways.
Oh, that idle gossip could be picked up from any corner shop in Moscow. I'm sure you can do better with your insights.
Yes, actually, I can.
Well then, fire away. There's nothing more invigorating than a dance with a political lecture, after all, especially if it's coming from someone learned.
You're such a complimentary thing, aren't you? No, I think that his progress through Europe will be severely impacted once he reaches, well, the Alps. I mean, how is he to cross them?
Well, perhaps we'll learn from history and barter for some elephants, maybe.
I would be interested to see how they would fare in the heights.
Yeah, I think this kind of it just goes on. I just keep asking you really inane questions about Napoleon.
He keeps answering. He does actually read a lot.
All right.
And then switches partners again.
Yeah.
Do the gentlemen ever touch each other in these quarter dances? They do, right?
I think they pass by each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every time we pass by each other, you say something cutting and I laugh you off.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I suppose I should get a few words in with Vasia, right?
I'll do it.
Yes.
Cool. Countess, it is such a pleasure to have the honor of dancing with you.
Likewise, Count Smirnov.
It is a happy occasion that I was able to come to this evening, thrown by the great General Volokov. I am to go on campaign soon. I will be sent to Austria.
That's where all the war is happening right now. Oh,
Yes.
You are ever so brave.
We must defend the motherland against the criminal, Bonaparte.
It is a very admirable course of action you have chosen to take with your life, sir.
It would be easier knowing that someone was thinking fondly of me while I was away on campaign.
She blushes again. She twirls a bit and smiles a little bit at you and just it's like, oh, I think that any woman would be happy to say that they were the ones thinking of you as you were out on the line.
Countess, may I beg the favor of being able to write to you? If you want a resolve token, I'm happy to spend it.
Is it? Yeah, sure. I think that she probably it's so unexpected and it's not a thing that she's been considering. She hasn't even been thinking of her own marriage or anything like that. She's just so busy with everything that it takes her by surprise. And before she can even think about it, she's like, "Why, of course, my count."
I think when the dance ends, it's going to be one of those big sweeping kissing of the hand motions. Because, yep, I got what I want.
Gonna catch everyone's eye.
I think Andrei breaks off from Sveta, walks over, and takes Vasilisa by the hand and says, "May I get you a drink, my lady?"
Vasilisa is very confused to be in the middle of this situation, and she has no idea how to react because this is not what she's prepared for. She looks What does Smirnov do?
Andrei Fyodorovich, I don't understand why you are in such a hurry. I was speaking with the young lady.
I turn back to him and say, well, as I am the one who invited her to dance, I was hoping to steal her attention for a few more minutes.
Of course, of course. I'm sure that she needs a refreshing break from the troubles of war.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I am also meant to be going to war as soon as my affairs are settled here.
So I have heard. Are you joining the guards? The hussars? Perhaps the heavy cavalry, my friend.
I've never been one to sit a horse well, but yes, maybe.
Well, I am sure that you will do your uncle a great honor in your spirited service to the crown.
You know, it is unfortunate that one such as I must see to the issues of heirs before one goes away.
Well, no, some of us are not so blessed. We must only hope.
Indeed.
Can I spend a token to have stolen Vasya away from these two?
Yes.
Go ahead. This is great.
Yeah. So I've just spent that. I'm not really giving that to anyone, right? It's just to kind of change the narrative.
I'm checking that. Don't worry, I'll catch us all up.
No worries.
So yes, I think that as the men are bragging and like doing all of this posturing, you've come and slipped me away, and I'm ever so grateful.
Oh, don't. It's no matter, Vasya. It's just that you look, if you don't mind me not mincing my words, incredibly uncomfortable between the two of them.
Oh, Sveta, I think I may have done something foolish. While we were dancing, the Count Smirnov, he asked if he could write me letters while he's on the front, and I think I may have given him the impression. Well, an impression. I think I may have given him an impression.
Sveta's smiling on the inside, but she can look shocked and say, that's a fairly big step for Count Smirnov. But given your personage, Vasya, I'm surprised it hasn't happened so often. I mean, after all, you are such a lovely girl. I don't see how the men in this room aren't falling head over heels for you. Truly.
Now, Svetlana, you know that I will not prioritize my own happiness and matrimony before that of my family.
But surely having a husband would make that easier. After all, you work so hard and you're not getting help from boorish Boris over there.
Yes, but who will take care of him if I abandon him to a husband in my own life? Look at him. I have to keep straightening his coat every 5 minutes.
What's happening? What's Boris doing while we're talking about him?
Please look a mess.
I think he looks. He looks like he's worked very hard to look slightly messy, in a way that he looks messy, but only in a very controlled way that he's clearly practiced for in the mirror for several moments. He looks like he's messy merely to get people to disapprove of him.
Hence his sister's disapproval.
Yes, yeah.
I think I see him and I just sigh and she's like, Vasya, you don't want to be shackled to family for so long. I mean, I know you love Boris. God knows why, but that's family. But there's a point where he has to learn to sink or swim. He cannot be riding on your coattails for so long. It's unmanly of him.
Sveta, I do know you're right, but I can't let it go. I've watched out for him for so long, and you know how it's been since mother and father died. And the only big person we have is our Uncle Valentine, and he is quite hard to deal with.
There are times, Vasya, that you will have much like Andrei Fyodorovich and Count Smirnov. You just have to let the men take care of the men. You have to take care of yourself. There's a time for thinking about yourself for once, and maybe this is the start. Lieutenant Count Smirnov's interest. I think actually you should get the jump on this, Vasya. You should write to him first. You should make sure to firm that up before he might lose interest. War does, it gets the men in such a fervor, they might forget. And always leap at all the chances you can get, Vasya. I'm going to offer a salt token to you for this.
Yes,
I'm being flagrant with all my tokens. That's probably not, I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass in the future.
Oh no, it's good. And yes, when you spend it against another character, you do give it to them.
Okay, so now I've got both of set as tokens. Okay, I think that there's this point where you make insinuations about what he might get up to in the field and everything, and I'm like, Sveta, but this is not the place to say such things. But perhaps you're right. I mean. And then she turns and she looks out at the dance floor and stares at him and is like, he does have that full and regal beard, and he does have quite the presence about him, don't you think?
Yes, he's a man of action, first and foremost. He is someone who can take care of you and make sure you don't have to burden yourself too much anymore. He's a man of he's a man who works, he's a man who fights for a country. There can be no higher man than Count Smirnov, and I definitely think you should take this chance, Vasya. I really do.
Sveta, you always have what's best for me in mind. I really appreciate you.
I know.
Cool. I think we should check in with Boris. What's going on with you?
I think Boris is approaching Andrei, since he's carefully selected a birthday present for Andrei.
Into it. Yeah, I think Andrei, once he got done fighting with Vladimir, realized that the object of his affection disappeared and is now sort of languishing in a corner, nursing a glass of wine.
And what is the traditional affectionate name for Andrei?
Andrusha is one.
Andrusha. I'll work up to that. As we so I think I'm going to approach Andrei Fedorovich from behind, and they just kind of lean towards his ear and say, "Well, happy name day, Andrei Fedorovich," and extend a small sort of tissue wrapped gift out to him.
Oh, Boris.
Subtly.
You didn't have to.
Well, all the doctors say you should watch your wine intake. So I thought if you're going to go abroad, you should be taking brandy with you.
Oh, very kind. Is that what's wrapped in the tissue? Is
There's a traveling flask of brandy.
Nice. I unscrew it and take a sip, and then offer it back to you.
I suppose you're under. Oh no! I had 3 cups of punch at this point.
You suppose what?
I suppose that you're under the same pressures to go abroad in the recent unpleasantness that I am.
Suppose correctly.
Mm.
I have gotten my uncle to consent that I shall go abroad only when my marriage is settled. But that, of course, means that I must settle a marriage.
It does mean you must settle a marriage.
You seem more reticent even than I at the prospect.
Oh, no. I am merely excited at the possibilities of you settling a marriage. Those are delightful prospects, considering where your eye perpetually drifts every time we let it loose.
You mean your lovely sister?
I do mean my sister,
Seems that she is
who I suppose is quite lovely.
Quite taken with Vladimir.
Well, he does have that beard.
Are you suggesting that I would be more attractive if I gave into the prevailing fashion and grew myself a small pet on my face?
That's a very difficult question. I would really have to, but I think we should consider the possibility that you're not going to really have time to install anything even the size of a chinchilla on your face in the time your uncle's going to give you before you leave for, where is it that your uncle is suggesting?
Austria.
Austria. Mine wanted me to go all the way to Germany.
That would be horrible.
I have been to Germany, and I concur.
I don't understand what this pressure is that we should all go die in some horrible war against the French.
After all, Napoleon wants to come here. Shouldn't we have a welcoming committee?
Yes, we should wait. Build him a lovely party.
Well, if they're not your parties, they're deathly dull, my friend.
Why, thank you. Unfortunately, I wasn't given control over the music this time, and my uncle, having returned, has us listening to the most dreadful dirges.
It says Moscow.
It does. And I raise my glass.
Okay. Have we caused enough mayhem for this novel chapter?
Yeah, probably.
So. Cool. All right. We're fairly underway. Plots are a thickening. On to the reputation phase. So cool. We're going to take a look at your family background and see if anybody has earned a reputation tag. You can only earn one reputation tag on either side, but you can earn both sides. And the same thing if you were very bad and very good. So let's take a look. So let's just start with right to left in the character. Boris, you are old money. So, did you act in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires?
I do not believe.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a hard no.
unless there's different duties or moralities here in Moscow.
Nope. Did you act in obedience to society's conventions, despite considerable... No.
I wore a press coat, I will have you know.
That's fair. Did you deny your desires and make a sacrifice to uphold the family name? Yeah.
I don't even know what those words mean.
Did you act in contravention of society's conventions?
Only very mildly.
Yeah, I don't think enough. Did you act on a desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality?
Not yet.
Have you shamed or embarrassed the family name?
Given my history, no.
All right, so cool. You're just a solid C+. Andrei, let's take a look.
I think having seen all of those, I for sure gain a positive tag.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You're also old money, and yeah, you definitely have acted in the service of duty in a way that contravenes your...
Probably I'll add sensible.
Okay, that's neat. Okay.
I don't think
That's
that's negative ones. I think I'm good.
Vasya of humble origins. Let's see. Did you act in service of duty or morality, or act in obedience to society's conventions? Yeah, you let that hussar officer just take a liberty with you by writing to you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's acting on a desire that compromise your duty and morality, right?
Yeah, that is. So I have to take a negative tag.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it? Is it? Does it have to be from these negative tags, or could it be based on the story so
It
far?
can be based on the story so far.
Okay. How about is this right? Impetuous is impulsive, or
Yeah, impulsive sounds. Yeah, that sounds about right. You may be a cornerstone, but you're a wild child.
natural?
Okay, our ill-reputed Sveta.
Not sure. I don't think I did any of the positives. I don't deny any of my desires. But my desires are no, my desires are well, they're only semi-obvious, I guess. Active obedience, disciplinary conventions. No, I was.
Well,
I think I gained a negative. I think I'm just not sure
I
which one.
think so, because yeah, you were the instigator of poor Vazia's fall into ignominy.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to a boy?
I'm sure they appreciate the forwardness. I'll take a negative either way. It feels like I think it's acting in contravention of society's conventions. Definitely. I think I'll take irresponsible. I'm hustling and wheeling and dealing too much.
And let's finally go to our friend, the prince. Okay, peerage.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think I changed. Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
gained any tags.
unless your desire, unless like your actual desire is to keep me close and safe, and you're making a sacrifice by sending me to war. But I don't think that's the case.
Actually, I didn't think about that, but you know,
Right.
yeah, there is.
Like I'm your nephew, and you don't actually want me to die.
Yeah, I like the idea that I've got some conflict about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So,
Maybe that's why you agreed. Like, yeah, be married. Maybe something will happen before then.
what should that tag be?
What about
Honorable, patriotic,
yeah, patriotic sounds good.
patriotic. Cool. Cool. There's a thing we're gonna have to do, which actually I don't think there's space for on this, but we'll just struggle through together. It'll be great. Cool.
Oh, rumor and scandal.
Well, no, there's room for that. We do want to, at some point to get our inner conflicts going here. Oh yeah, we're a big old Russian novel. There's definitely an inner conflict thing going on with us. Cool. Yep. Yeah, so we'll do that in a sec, I think. There's no hard rule on when to do that, except we could have done it right at the start, but that's fine. Yeah, so cool. We did reputation. Nobody got a condition, so we don't have to have a reputation scene. Rumor, scandal. Rumor and scandal. Cool. So the way this works is we're gonna do 2 rounds. Let's start with Boris, and then it'll snake back. So why don't we go Richard, then me, and Serafina, you can go last and do the double duty. And on your turn, you can either create a rumor or spread a rumor that has been created. When a rumor is spread, then we create a relationship, a resolve token for it. So, which can be spent when that rumor comes into play. Haha. Oh dear. So cool. Boris, what do you have for us?
I think that the rumor is that Prince Nikolai is pushing his male relatives to go into the army to further his own political ambitions.
Cool. Let's just do obvious answer is obvious. Boris is in Moscow because he was exiled from Petersburg.
It's a lie. It's a dreadful lie.
Something about a girl or a bear. Cool.
Well, neither of those would be scandalous in Moscow.
Yeah, this is fair. Why don't we do Vasia?
So the rumor is, like more complicated for myself. How about rumor has it that Vladimir has gotten quite a few women to promise to write him letters. That just makes all of us look bad.
Damn, the rumor I thought of was going to be Boris is being exiled to Siberia. But
Remember, you can choose to spread a rumor, which just means that
yeah.
it is widely known.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm definitely spreading that rumor about Boris. Then you think I'm not gonna pass up that chance to use that later?
Beautiful. And finally, Andrei.
I am definitely spreading the rumor that Vladimir is a pen pal to every girl in Moscow.
Cool. And now you get to go again.
Yeah, I think the other rumor that I would like to spread is that let me think. We haven't met this character yet, but I feel like making my life more difficult. Is that Rosalina, the Fedorova cousin, has an illegitimate child? I'm going hard.
I think it's been a rumor that the Morozovs are close to selling their house in Moscow. That's how broke they are. So, bit of stabs to myself.
Cool. Vasia?
I think there is a rumor that let's see here. There is a rumor that so we've got rumors about like pretty much everybody except for Nikolai now, right? Okay. How about there is a rumor that that Nikolai's daughter has started to perform at a cabaret. Completely unbefitting of her station. On the stage.
Under an assumed name, of course. Cool. I guess it's me, huh? Yeah. Oops. Wait. Wrong one. Yeah, I like the idea that everybody knows that the Morozovs are going broke. And finally, Boris.
Can I spread my own rumor?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I'm going to work hard to. I feel defensive, protective of my friend Andrei. And I think I'm going to work hard on making sure people know that rumor, especially my sister. My sister with her sympathetic ears.
Fantastic. So cool. So we could have done this before, but I like the idea that we took a novel chapter and we know a little bit about our characters now. So I'd like to talk about our inner conflicts, if I can find the page real quick. So the inner conflict is an inner conflict. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. It is, but it's got to be some sort of generalized conflict, like love versus wealth, or family versus independence, or acceptance versus revenge. So we can fill those out on your sheet. Maybe we'll just put it down in the notes for now, and I'll try and fix it later. But if you look on the actual character role sheets, you will see that there's a whole little chart there. So when at the end of when we're doing this, when do we do this? I think after each cycle or after each phase. I'll look that up in a sec. You'll mark off whether or not you took action to pursue either side of it, depending on the various actions there. And when you fill out 3, I think that's when it's done. And we go on and do more stuff. But for now, just think about what your conflict might be. Like, I'm pretty sure I got Nikolai's is definitely duty versus love.
I think mine is something like passion versus obligation or something like that, because I'm just leaning hard on the old-timey queer thing. Okay.
Yeah, I think Boris is. I'm struggling with my vocab here, but I think he's going for essentially affection versus popularity. He knows he has a terrible reputation and he sort of cherishes it, but he actually wants the people he cares about to be well taken care of.
Yeah.
Vasia's was kind of easy. It's family duty versus independence. And thank you so much, Sven, for pointing that out.
I need to read something. I think mine it's something versus like friendship or family, or like just, I didn't want to say decency. No, that's not it. I know the other one is kind of revenge. This is all one big revenge plot at the moment. I need to figure out the why, but it's definitely revenge versus French versus French. I'll leave the French for now. I'll need to think on this for the night.
Cool. So yeah, we will check those in between cycles, and then there's a thing we got to do, and it's all complicated stuff that I'll probably have to work on the sheet in between. So don't worry, we're not going to finish the cycle tonight, so that'll be fine. Cool. We're just marching along, though. Where are we now? Oh, the novel writing phase. Rather, the letter writing phase. So cool. So you can write letters to people. You can write up to 2 letters. You can also spend resolve tokens to receive letters. This should be major characters, but as facilitator, I can theoretically also provoke other things that are happening. When you do a letter, you can just dictate it. You can describe what happened. If you want, and it's like a visit that you're recounting, you can do a brief flashback scene with those characters instead of just narrating it. So there's some options here. Cool. Anybody got a letter they want to write? I really wish I could sample the letter song from Great Comfort right now.
I'll totally take a swing at it. Okay, so. My dearest Sveta, I don't know how to describe how heavy my heart is. I suppose by now you've heard the rumors that Count Smirnov has courted pen pals from every woman in Moscow. I don't want to hold you responsible, my dear Sveta, but it was you who suggested that I should weaken myself against his advances. Oh, I just don't know what to do. I feel so lost and so confused, and I feel like I've let my family down. My only hope is that amidst the sea of all of us who have wasted our time on that lieutenant, that my name will not come up and that the name of Fedorov will not be slandered. Even still, though, Sveta, I hope to see you soon, and I hope this letter finds you well. Ever yours, Vasya.
I think I know who I want to write to. From Andrei Fyodorovich Vasilev to Count Vladimir Smirnov. Dear Sir, your actions in recent months have been contemptible. I find it beyond belief that you have written to so many women with the promises of your attention and affection, and then withdrawn it with this simple infidelity that you so obviously describe. I will not see you socially, and I hope that I will prove myself a better man of honor than you, even though I have not as yet shed blood on the battlefield. Let your example stand as one that is undignified even in the service of his country.
Yeah, okay. I'll spend a facilitator token. I'll give it to you, as a matter of fact. Because this will be the letter that Count Smirnov would write in return.
Oh boy.
What are you, a count?
Yeah.
Dear Count Vasilev, I am not accustomed to accepting words spoken or written in such a manner. I demand satisfaction. If you will do me the honor, I shall send my seconds to call upon yours at your earliest convenience. I remain affectionately yours, Count Vladimir Ivanovich Smirnov.
Dear Count Smirnov, my seconds will meet you on this date at this time in this place. Let blood show the truth of your brazen actions against the ladies of this beloved town. I remain yours in service, Count Andrei Fyodorovich Vasilev.
This is great, because you know what? Other people can now write a letter explaining what happened in the duel. So cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, Prince Nikolai could definitely write a letter like, oh my God, Andrusha, But it could also be, Sveta or Vazia or whatever. Or we could leave the duel unresolved as of now. But this is great. We already got a duel. Perfect. Love you guys.
One act in.
Who's up next? Postman's calling.
Yeah. I think I'm writing to Andrei Fedorovich. And this is it's part of a much longer letter filled with excessive amounts of gossip. And I think it finally gets to the paragraph. Oh, and proposition : do you need an associate of some sort for your work in Austria?
Salacious.
Because if I have to deal with Moscow Gossip Society for more than 15 more minutes, I might strangle a bear in ways that Muscovites would find unacceptable.
Sveta was actually going to write a letter to a popular person around Andrei Fyodorovich. I don't know if I'm going to resolve the duel here. I'm going to leave that as an unknown for now. No, I'll let Tarot resolve that. I think Sveta writes, Count Andrei Fyodorovich, I thoroughly enjoyed our meeting at the celebration of your name day. Word around Moscow had put it that you were nothing more than a poetic reaching for the stars, but I was glad to find out that you're still a man with 2 feet planted firmly in the ground. I had thought you hot-headed, but instead you proved quite cool and calculating, and I admire that in a person. I would very much like to extend our friendly meetings in the future. I do believe we have much to discuss about. Well, whatever comes to mind, I'm sure. I hope that you found the same amusement that I did. And I hope that you're keeping well in your endeavors. Yours sincerely, Princess Svetlana Petrovna Morozov. It's just nice. Nice letter of friendship. There's nothing ulterior about it whatsoever.
Oh my god. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is use my second slot here. So Prince Nikolai is writing a letter to his longtime mistress, Yekaterina Kuznetsova, who is a lady-in-waiting to the Dowager Empress. My dearest Katish, such a disaster has occurred to us as I could never have expected, that I, in the day who had fought for so long in the mountains of Central Asia and who had chased Frederick himself across Central Europe, should be reduced to such a state. My beloved Andrusha has found himself caught up in a duel. A rather rakish but effective young officer named Vladimir Mirov challenged him. They met upon the field of battle. It was that romantic spot near the Moskva River that we once spent a happy afternoon together with. I am happy to say that Andrushka survived with only a minor wound, and that Vladimir was a gentleman and considered honored to have been satisfied. He has now departed for his unit in Poland, and I fear that Andrusha must leave Moscow soon. He must either go to the army in Austria or to Petersburg. If he comes to Petersburg, I hope that you will show him all the honor and pleasure that you have often showed me in our company. I remain most affectionately yours, your beloved Coco. So cool. You get to write up the 2 letters. Anybody else got a letter?
Yep, I do. So at this point, I am writing to my Uncle Valentin, and I open, "Dearest Uncle, I hope that this letter finds you well. Although I feel that its contents may shock you. It has been brought to my attention that there is a rumor that my dear cousin Rosalina has had an illegitimate child. Now, of course, I know that Rosalina would never do something this silly, this stupid, this completely out of character for a Fedorov. But I do also know that she has been seen socializing with that Count Andrei, the one who was caught up in that duel recently. And I think that we should work as hard as we can to make sure that the members of our family are not dragged down by such scandals. So, dear uncle, I invite cousin Rosia to come and stay with us at the Fedorov house in the country. I think it would be best for her and us if we all spent a little time thinking about how we can better represent the Fedorovs. I know that Boris has it heavily on his mind as well, and I'm sure that you would agree. Ever yours, your niece, Vasya."
Well, at this point, my choices are limited. I'm going to send Andrea another gossipy letter congratulating him on the victory in his duel. And suggesting that after the minor scandal caused, and before deploying to Austria, that it would be good for him to meet us at our country house, away from the Muscowiness of Moscow. And I look forward to entertaining him there. Yours, Fedorov.
Cool. It sounds like the Fedorovs are going to be hosting some people, huh? This is fantastic. So, unless anyone's got another letter to write, I think we can try and get that last novel scene in, and maybe we'll go slightly over and just finish up the epistolary, and then we'll have knocked off an entire cycle. Well done, guys. So cool. Oh, wait, no. We'd have to do a reputation phase. Never mind. We got no chance. But we can get the novel phase in. So, yeah. Maybe we should have it in a late summer afternoon in 1805 at the Fedorov's country estate?
Yeah.
Or early fall? Probably early fall. I think Austerlitz is in October, so...
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
We could also do this as a split thing, where some of them are at the country estate and maybe some of the other people are with the army.
Sure.
Either way. I don't know what people think.
I think country estate.
Cool.
Right.
Okie doke. So I guess I should ask the Fedorovs what their country estate is like. And you've invited Rosalina, right? Rosalina and Andrei, right?
And Andrei. And I assume Sveta has a standing invitation.
Yeah, so I think the country estate is, and Boris, please feel free to help out here. But I think it's like homes that has like a lining because we have all that whole right.
You're broken up there a
It's just
little.
like, oh yeah, sorry, it's being thinking it's like a palatial with like to entertain, loves that kind of thing. Old money, but we're just not doing so. And you and that it's just like did everybody lose me again?
We lost you a little bit. You
Yeah,
were
we
going
lost
in and out.
in the middle there.
Huge house, fountains, entertaining, lots of guests.
Let's say we are understaffed.
Oh yes.
Since we have not sort of come into our own in society yet.
Maybe it's like falling into disrepair just a little bit. Like
Yeah. It's no Grey Guard, but
and I think like the most big when Rosalina shows up, is she actually like, does she have a child or not? Is the thing that I want to know right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't think that she does. I think that it's just a hateful rumor. So who should start?
I think it should be the arrival of. It should be the arrival of Andrei. I think. Yes.
Great. Yeah, so I think Andrei arrives, and is he? I guess is he staying for a prolonged period, like several days? That kind of visit. So he arrives. He has his own sort of. I guess would it be a footman? What's the thing? He has his own like body man, like his
Valet.
valet. Thank you.
Valet, yeah.
So he has his own valet, and shows up with a few cases of clothes and everything, and immediately makes his way inside. And I guess who's there to greet him? Is it Boris?
it's Boris. It's very much Boris. He's standing there with no, it's Shirley. Yeah, he's standing there with a sort of a snifter of brandy, sort of already extended.
So Andrei gets out of the carriage and immediately walks up and I guess, do people shake hands? That's what they're doing at this point, right?
Yeah, we're Russians. We may be kissing for all I know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah. And he greets you enthusiastically and says, "Oh my goodness, Boris, it was such a long trip out here. The place
It is hellishly long. From any city that's worth visiting. I am so glad you're here.
I'm very glad to be here. This is a beautiful estate.
I'm sure my sister will also be glad you're here as well.
Really, I wondered if she would want to see me again after the unpleasantness with Vladimir. I know she was fond of him.
She is shocked a little bit, but matters needed to be taken in hand. Question, was I your second? Or one of your seconds?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think you were there. Well, I think that
He barely spoke to me, and I was merely a second.
yes, I believe that men such as Vladimir should not be allowed to get away with things simply because they wear a uniform. There's more to honor than bloodletting.
Well, once you get married, you'll be wearing a uniform. Is it not correct? Am I mistaken?
You are Not mistaken.
Have you considered my suggestion?
I mean, you know I hold your sister in great regard, but I don't know that she feels the same for me any longer.
My suggestion about my accompanying to Australia.
Oh, that was of absolutely no question, my friend. I just wanted to give you my affirmation in person.
Ah, my dear friend. My uncle will be almost as delighted as yours.
Listen, I don't know anyone that I would rather face down the Hun with.
Are they the Huns now?
Oh,
The
wait,
French?
yeah, what's the French thing?
I don't know.
There's some sort of
Gauls?
horrible slur for them.
Oh, I thought just
Frogs. Face down the frogs with.
I certainly don't want to insinuate anything inappropriate about amphibians.
That's true. Calling them a frog is an insult to frogs.
Yes, well, the regicidal French.
Listen, perhaps we will get lucky and it will take your sister a long time to say yes to me, and then we won't wind up going to war at all because it will be over.
She is indecisive. Have you met my cousin Rosaline?
You know, I do know that name. Was she at court last year for her presentation?
Rosalina Valentina. Yes. You know her uncle,
I do.
Count Valentin
Some-
Fedorovich.
Terrible rumors surrounding her having parented a child. Seems shocking to me.
You know, she arrived and there was no child. It's amazing how idiotic most rumors can be.
Yes, and merely speaking them can ruin someone's life.
Yes, yes, it can.
Tell me, is your friend Sveta here as well?
Is she ever not here?
I don't understand why the two of you hate each other so much.
She's smitten with me, I've told you before.
Well, then you should marry her and shut her up.
Me marry? That seems unlikely.
My dear man, you're going to eventually have to stand up straight in front of a priest somewhere and get married.
I remind you that my mother was a Lutheran.
They don't have priests in the Lutheran Church?
I don't know what they have in the Lutheran Church. We've not gone to church in decades.
Well, I'm just saying that if you want to maintain the lifestyle to which you have become accustomed, you're going to have to give someone an heir at some point. As distasteful as you and I may both find the idea.
No, you are pursuing my sister, and there's nothing distasteful about her.
There's nothing distasteful at all about your sister. Well, there's nothing distasteful at all about you either.
Speaking of my sister, and I summoned one of the handful of servants to fetch her.
I think I, like, when they find me and they bring me out, I come down the stairwell looking all smiles, and then I see Andrei fall. Then I pick it back up and I say, Count Vasilev, it's such a surprise to see you.
I invited Count Vasilev up for the weekend.
My dear Countess.
Vasilev is a great fan of life in the country, and since I will be busy hunting bear, I thought that he would be a capable companion for everyone. I would not want you. He would not want you alone with Rosalina and what's her name?
On the contrary, I invited our cousin to Condo's office that, dear brother.
Oh, what happened?
Seems he dropped out.
Let me message him.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Apologies.
Wow.
What happened? So what was the last thing you said? I'm sorry. About our cousin?
I said, on the contrary, I had invited our dear cousin out to escape all of the nasty and convalesce in peace and brought the party to the country.
I've merely brought Andrei. Andrei, did you bring anyone besides your valet?
No.
Mm.
My dear Count, have you recovered from your tussle, as it were?
Have you come all the way down the stairs at this point? So I think I
Yes.
I walk over and I take one of your hands and say, I do hope that that entire matter did not distress you too much.
She is, because she doesn't know if you're near brush with death, or the fact that she threw herself quite indiscreetly at a captain. She just smiles and says, I would be very happy to do the whole thing, and I hope you are well and that everything will just settle down.
I hope you don't think me the sort of man that enters into such fracas with no reason. I did it merely to protect the honor of things that I hold dear. And he kisses your hand.
Again, and at this point, spend one of my tokens to have Sveta walk in at that precise moment.
Great.
I was actually, what was I thinking? Actually, okay, no, I'll leave it now. I was going to spend my monologue token again. One of y'all to monologue, but save that for later. Let's see. I think I kind of come in and see all of you, and it's like, oh, well, look at that, a gathering of friends. There's Vasia, and there's Andrei Fedorovich, and there's the fool right there.
I ordered tea. I hear it loosens the tongue. But since tongues are already loose, I think we should switch to coffee.
Always the decadent soul, Boris. Always the decadent soul.
Now, the two of you, sheathe your swords.
I suppose.
I've never once drawn a blade against anyone so delightful as Sveta.
And lean over to I understand why they fight so much. They're rather alike, don't you think?
I think so.
Oh, God. Let's see where this is going.
But we probably shouldn't tell them that. I feel like they would bring the whole house down.
No, but it's also so much fun to tease them, don't you think?
Dear woman, I live to tease.
I think, this Sveta's making some ridiculous comment about how, well, if you have not much to show, I guess I see why you keep it in your sheath, Boris.
I bring you a cup of coffee that I've made very precisely in the wrong way.
I'm gonna take a sip, and I'm calculating the exact wrong ways that this coffee has been made.
I've added. I don't know. Do you take cream?
No, I think Svetlana takes it.
It is nearly white. The stuff in the cup is nearly white. And do you sweet or not sweet?
She takes it black. So.
Yeah, it's nearly white, and it tastes. There is more sugar than coffee in the cup.
Gross.
I'm drinking it down. I'm definitely drinking it down. Just like, well,
and I've made mine exactly the way you like it.
Do you like it extremely black?
It doesn't matter what I like. It's the fact that that's not what you're getting.
I think at some point I pull Vasia aside, and like we're all in the same room, so like I don't need an escort, but like I'm standing over in a corner with her, and I say, I do hope that everything that happened with Petrov didn't put you off me.
She just kind of like cause we speak of the better.
Broke up a little bit.
Oh, I just said the least we speak of Vladimir, the better.
Excellent, then he shall not cross my lips again.
Then she kind of like looks up at you and smiles and says, "And so, Count Andrei, and did I break up again?
Yeah, a little bit.
I basically said, like, what do you intend to do in our fine country home?"
I was hoping to take in all the beautiful sights and to spend relaxing time with people whose company I enjoy. I will not be hunting bear with your brother.
He's anxious. I don't understand why he games.
He is an adventurous sort. That's probably always going to be the way he is.
You know, I would just really love it if he would settle. Feel as if I cannot until I know.
I share this concern. But I think that he's always going to be Boris.
Can I hear that? Do I hear that, or is this a private conversation?
Would you like to spend a resolve token to hear?
I'm out of tokens, so I can't.
No, you got one.
Oh, well, when did that happen?
I gave you one and you to the entry hall to save.
Oh yes, yeah. No, I don't think it's worth doing. I was just gonna make another pithy comment, but actually no. I think I'll overhear that. You want to hear that? And I go, Boris. See, even our good friend Andrei Fedorovich thinks you're hopeless.
I did not say hopeless. I said Boris.
But would you agree that there are certain Boris-like qualities that has hindered his progress so far, dear Count?
Woman, you cannot wet the side of your tongue upon my stone.
I really do insist, Sveta, that you have at least 5 minutes of peace against my brother. I did not invite you here to listen to the two of you. I'm sure that wherever Rose, she is just racked with she cannot get a. So
you broke up there for me a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I basically just said like that. Rose, I'm like Rosie. I didn't call you bicker. Dates and beats.
I look at you meaningfully and with a fake air of penitence and just like, see, no one wants to hear us fight and bicker and argue. So we should not fight or bicker and argue.
I downed the last of this coffee, whatever
I
you want
can
to
make
call
you
it.
another cup if you like.
Well, since we're at an armistice, dear Boris, I would be happy if you oblige me.
I down my cup. Braced by sheer spite.
Can I spend my monologue token to hear Boris monologue?
Go right ahead.
How do monologues work?
So a person spends the monologue token, and then you reveal your inner thoughts about a subject that they suggest, I think. But in any case, you can just give us a short scene where you explain, where you let us into Boris's inner thoughts. It's a very Russian novel.
Mm-hmm.
But do I suggest what he's thinking about, or do I let them pick that?
I think for tonight, let's make sure that, suggest the process and I will check that.
I want to know if Boris does think he is helpless. If he's unable to change, or has he ever actually thought of that? Of changing.
I think his inner, and this is inner thoughts, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but is it supposed to be externalized? Like we are all hearing him talk about it, or
No, it's us players.
Right.
Boris goes to make a second cup of coffee, this time both of them perfectly black. Though he's certainly messing with all of the porcelain so that when it arrives, it will be a surprise that it is correctly made. And pulls it onto a small hand tray and grins at Zveta from across the room and starts to approach in true like household waiter style. And inside his head, he's thinking, he's looking at you, thinking, in what exactly is your problem with me, Zveta? Do you think I was not watching you when you were 21 or 18 or 16, that I did not note all the games you and my sister played? You far more expertly. Sveta, if your just general disapproval of the world would break for a moment, we might find our ability to conspire for the betterment of everyone improved.
This is all internal, right? I just want
This is all internal.
All right, cool. So I'm also gonna bump
And
down.
then with the end of that, he lowers it, and it's exactly the way you want it.
Oh my
God. I think, I take it. I just see it and just look at it and look at your serene face. What does Boris look like right now?
My face?
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you an arched eyebrow and a very slight grin. Does this meet your approval, Princess?
I think, take a sip. It is perfectly blended to what I like. And just say, it's acceptable.
I am so glad to have gotten some note of acceptability.
I'm sure you'll remember it for the rest of your days. Sip.
Oh my God.
rough.
I think I lean in and think, what is your objection To my dear Andrushka. And I whisper that as we're having coffee and sort of position my body so that as Andrei and Vasilisa are themselves having a quieter, more private conversation, we can also, by sort of blocking their ability to like look over and read our lips. What is your objection?
I think I'm sipping coffee. I'm just asking, were you spending a token for this, or I could just tell you?
You can just,
No.
yeah. I don't want to tell you how to respond, but that's
Okay.
I'm just, since we're there, I want to ask you
Okay.
very quietly.
With dear Count Fyodorovich, I didn't know he's now a bosom friend of yours. I didn't think you'd care, Boris.
We do not get many choices in friendship. And Andrei Fedorovich has always understood me better than most, and I have long looked up to him.
Oh, if you think I intend to get in the way of that, Boris, don't worry. It matters not to me. That's your friendship to uphold and keep stable.
I'm talking about between Andrei Fedorovich and my sister.
Yes,
I think it would be a good match, a good family, appropriately titled, already known to her. If she does not object, why would you?
Oh, I have no objections, merely concerns. Yes, Andrei would be good, but would he be good enough?
He would be better than an idiot with a beard and a predilection for sleeping with everything that has ever moved.
Shrug. It's like, well, that's one poor choice. We are in Moscow, dear Boris. There's choice in every court and every castle around here. And I think I look at you and I've drained the coffee, and like, well, are you not then concerned that if this match continues, you will be left with the family name, the family estate, all the responsibility that entails?
You've stayed here more than once. This is not in its glory days.
See, there's the difference between you and me, Boris. Unlike you, I care about family.
And you know that my sister has the privilege of marrying well and moving on to something better.
Well, at least you admit it, Boris.
Andrushka is beloved by his uncle. He's close with the royal family.
I think try to keep serene, and I'm just like, oh, well, at least admit that her marrying is moving on to better things. That's growth there, Boris.
You know as well as I do that it was not I who broke this family's fortunes. My father's poor choice in business partners.
Well then, why follow his example? Why leave the burden to your sister while you gallivant across Russia?
Because she should take a name and title that can be relied on, that is not fading.
Is that your master plan, Boris? To whisk your sister away while you stay here and rot?
My master plan is to see my sister marry someone who likes her and cares for her, and then to return to university.
I think well, once you said that, I kind of stand up and go, well, you've been so generous to me. You deserve coffee as well. If,
I am apologetic. I should retire briefly to get ready for tea.
oh, it never ends. Never ends. But, well then,
Sveta, it is always a pleasure.
always, Boris.
Andrei Fedorovich,
Yes, Boris.
I will send an appropriate chaperone into the room.
Oh no, I will join you. Let the ladies have their talk while we go and prepare ourselves for the next phase of our day.
Okay, wow. So we threw a Russian novel, and some Bergman broke out. But cool.
Yep.
I think we can end the novel phase there. Let's maybe real quick try and check reputation. I'm gonna just rely on you guys to decide whether or not you did it as we walk through this. Mine's easy. I didn't do anything, so I'm good.
I feel like I gained another negative tag. It feels like it. It just feels like it.
Scheming, perhaps?
Yeah, no, it's the bit where I just kept actively calling Boris out, and it did kind of annoy Andrei and Vasya.
Well, you're gonna pick up a condition. So
Lovely.
we'll remember to do that next session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think mine changed at all.
Yeah, I don't think mine changed.
Yeah, I didn't like endure any hardship or anything.
Cool.
But I did like act in certain
Yeah.
like until my younger brother does. So
Yeah.
it's like self-sacrificing.
Into it.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. So the thing to remember is that we need to give Sveta a reputation condition that will provoke a scene. That will be great. That will be our kicker for next week.
Great.
And then we'll pick up with the epistolary phase, which will be great. So, that'll be the way we remind ourselves what the hell just happened. Guys, thank you for staying a little late. This is great. Thank you, guys. I was a little nervous about pulling this off, but you guys have been pitching in beautifully. So I will drop a thing in the chat, I think, about debrief if you want to do it. And other than that, I will see you next week. So, do svidania.
До свидания.
Bye bye.